Om Arthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitaamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayini Ambatvamanusandadha Bhagavad Geetā Bhavadveshini. In this 82nd class on Bhagavad Geetā, we pick up again the 13th shloka, where Sri Krishna has talked about Chaturvarnyam, the fourfold diversity in this creation with reference to human beings. In Shankara's commentary, he in fact makes a special mention. He says, Tatchaidam Chaturvarnyam na anyeshu lokeshu manushe loke iti visheshanam. What is visheshana? What is special? What is something to be noticed is this diversity, some being more sattva pradhana, some others being raja pradhana, and yet others being tama pradhana, and so on, is very unique to the human species. Let me read the shloka 1-3 of chapter 4 and make a few more comments before proceeding further. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashaha tasya kartaramapi mam vidhya kartaramamvyayam. The word Chaturvarnya is the setup where there are 4 kinds of human beings, 4 personality types. Chatvaraha Varnaha Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra. These words appear in so many texts, scriptures of Sanatana Dharma, and today, as we have entered a new millennium in this 21st century, a large number, I would use a rough figure, 95% of the followers of Sanatana Dharma accept what Swami Vivekananda or Swami Chinmayananda said, that is, it is not anything to do with birth, it is a certain division of personality types. And as the shloka itself says, guna and karma. When you get to know a person, man or woman, their attributes, the characteristics of their behavior are guna. And then karma is what field of work draws them, what field of work attracts them, where they feel comfortable. This also varies. I many times meet people who have excellent knowledge of a certain subject, and I tell them, I am impressed with your knowledge of the subject. By the way, you would have been a very good teacher or professor with so much knowledge. immediately they say, no, no, I never wanted to be a teacher. I never want to be a teacher. Very surprising. Just because they have knowledge, they are very clear, and even their communication is good, it does not mean that they would be drawn to the teacher's profession. They are in industries, they are in business, they use their clear knowledge and excellent communication skills to do well in business or industry. They don't go for the teaching career. And it's not right to say it's just money which is making the difference. We don't know what karma, what field of work attracts them and why it does so. It's the ambience, it is probably getting to know places, travel, and some administration, some management, buying, selling. It's so difficult to know the mindset of people, leave alone others' mindsets. We don't understand our own mind, how our mind works, what makes our mind get excited about something and stay indifferent to something else. We just do not know. Very strange. But the fact remains that going by the qualities, attributes, guna, and going by karma, people are diverse. This diversity is God's creation. Whenever I come across some controversy about this Varna Vyavastha, I say, accept that there is diversity anywhere and everywhere in the world, and do not give undue importance to whether it is by birth or otherwise. A small number whom we call very orthodox people, even today believe that Varna is by birth. I have some good friends among the orthodox people also, and I find them sometimes fanatical, but sometimes there are some among the orthodoxy who are not fanatical, who don't mean ill to anybody, who are very disciplined, who are truly very sattvic. Then why do they go for that view? Somehow it is their faith. They believe that God puts the souls with preponderance of sattva into the so-called Brahmin parents, Brahmin families. God puts the Raja-pradhana people, whose main guna is Rajaha, but second is Sattva, that is the Kshatriya kind. God puts them in the families of warriors and so on. So it is not exactly always selfish interest. There are people with selfish interest. If the interpretation by caste is favorable to them, looking at the favor to their own person or their own community, they may go for that interpretation. That's one thing. Leave them aside. There are some who do not go by self-interest. It's their faith. So it's very difficult to know. And then they have their own arguments. I raised one or two in a previous class. In the royal families of England or any other country, it is by birth. Democracy is not the norm everywhere. So now if Queen Elizabeth breathes her last, who will be the next queen or king of England? There are strict rules, and it is purely by birth. I believe in Japan and in so many countries, in so many matters, the birth has been given a great value, great importance. Exploitation, taking wrong advantage, definitely is not acceptable, is unfair and unjust. But this matter of birth as a criterion will not so easily leave the surface of the earth. In a way, it is like how there is divided opinion on food habits also. A lot of people vehemently believe that vegetarianism is the right way for humanity. Vegetarianism is to be adopted by all human beings. There's a big lobby. As you know, there are some who even make a case for veganism. No meat eating and no animal products of any kind anywhere. Veganism. So, likewise, there are some people who believe Varna is as per birth. Loko bhinna ruchihi. We must not break our head over why some people like it this way, why some people like it that way. You inquire, you go by your belief. But Bhagavad Geetā always says, avoid dvesha. Dvesha towards Vaishyas or Kshatriyas, Brahmanas or Shudras. Dvesha towards women or children is above all completely prohibited as per the teachings of the Gita. So do have your opinion, even political systems, economic systems, even in systems like, whether India should have a presidential system or this present prime minister being the key figure is all right. People have different opinions. The world has different opinions. Lastly, with respect to this current crisis of Ukraine war, there are people who are supporting Russia and there are people who are opposing Russia. And I laugh. The United States, such a powerful country, opposes Russia, but they are providing a lot of military equipment. I'm sure it is on a sale basis. Economic benefit goes to the states. This is what they have been doing everywhere. They'll say, we want peace, but they'll give arms to India, they will give arms to Pakistan, and selling arms to both the sides, they make money. They play some strange politics and their own self-interest. Someone said to me other day, this is not my view, but I would not want to mention that person's name either, for some of you may know her. She said to me, she lives in the United States. She said, Swamiji, the United States is the most prosperous democracy on the earth. It is the most prosperous hypocrisy on the earth. Democracy and hypocrisy going together, I don't know. So, what games they play? They go into some territory of the world, and when it goes beyond control, they run away from there. They just did it in Afghanistan. They went to Vietnam, trying to police the world. When things went very bad and they lost a lot of their troops, they withdrew and went away. So it is very strange. But some people say, well, if the United States has messed up any part of the world, let me tell you, if you were to be there, you would have not managed it even to 1/10 of the level of excellence or level of performance of the United States. So in every matter, loko bhinna ruchi. I feel tempted to say one more before going. Even after millions have died, even today, I meet people who vehemently say this corona is a fraud, a scam. There is no coronavirus really. Vaccination is a part of that worldwide conspiracy of the economic lobbies, of the medical lobbies, of the political lobbies, and so on. Other day, a guru, he has a lot of followers. A guru said to me, by the way, Chidanandaji, do not wear masks. Do not go for vaccine. Hope you have not taken a vaccine yet. I was surprised. That guru himself is widely traveled, speaks English, has gone to so many countries of the world, exposed to science and technology, but he believes that this COVID-19 is a big lie. Look at it. Therefore, if you believe that Varna is by caste, Varna is by birth, and a lot of your friends think that it is the birth has nothing to do with it, take a deep breath and say, this world has such diversity in every matter. Live in harmony in spite of different opinions. Other way too, if you believe that it is not at all as per birth, and then there you meet some people who, not just Brahmanas, there are many Shudras who believe, Shudras, quote and unquote, who are considered Shudras in the society, who believe that it is by birth only. Whether it's a belief or it's a conditioning or it is some old habit, we do not know. So this birth as a basis is a long-standing controversy. But one last time, let me say, vast majority today go by qualities, personalities, and the nature, and they agree that there should be equal opportunity for all, and so on. So let's take a quick look at Shankara Bhāshya now. Adi Shankara, just like Sri Krishna, does not make an explicit mention of the role that birth, janma, plays. He neither says Chaturvarnyam is on the basis of janma, what your parents were, nor does he say it is not as per janma. This creates a difficulty for Vedanta students. He quotes Veda mantra, Chaturvarnyam Chatvareva Varnaha Chaturvarnyam Maya Ishwarena, I as God created this Utpaditam. And in the Vedas there is a reference to this. Brahmanosya Mukhamasit Bahurajanya Kritaha. There is a famous mantra in the Purusha Sukta. Brahmanas came from the mouth or the face of the divine universal being. And the last line there, Padbhyam, the Shudra came from the feet. Therefore, the Dalit movement is extremely angry with the Purusha Sukta, with the Manusmriti and so on. Sometimes they burn copies of Manusmriti in public. So, Shankara just mentions, I guess, this mantra to say this fourfold diversity has been in the world, and that is as per my will. Shankara doesn't say Brahmanaha, Janmataha, he doesn't say. So Janma is not touched upon. And then Brahmanosya Mukhamasit Ityadi Shrutehe Guna Karma Vibhagasha. Guna and Karma. And Sattva, Rajas and Tamas are the three gunas. Sattvas is love of knowledge, love of spiritual approaches. Sattva is marked by a balanced personality, who are sattvic people are much more equanimous. Sattvic people do not pick a fight whenever there is a chance. On the contrary, they have certain control on anger. They generally are easy to deal with. Rajasic people have abilities, a lot of abilities, but they could be aggressive. And Vaishyas have an inborn ability to deal with wealth. They don't have to do it for themselves, even for the sake of society, wealth management, and so on. Shudras are marked by an ability to serve with great loyalty, with great dedication, serve, be of service. Even if they have great knowledge, they would take a cause and serve that cause with that knowledge. They are, to a great extent, followers of some noble tasks or noble goals. They are not so much leaders in the old classification. Though in all the four categories, there are leaders, there are followers. Shankara says, gunaha sattva-rajaha tamansi. Tatra sattvikasya sattva-pradhanasya brahmanasya shamodamas-tapaha ityadini karmani. When you read that verse, shamodamas-tapah shaucham shanti, let me read that for you. You have the 42nd verse in 18th chapter. Shamodamas-tapah shaucham shantirarjavamevacha jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma svabhavajam. Brahma karma. But what are they? Being calm in one's mind, being well controlled in one's handling of sense organs, having a natural tendency to live an austere life, austerities, various anushtanas, shaucham, cleanliness. This is not any particular profession. All the 9 descriptions, jnanam, vijnanam, 9 descriptions are given of Brahmanas. None of them is any professional domain. Sri Krishna has not said the priest's work. He has not even said the teacher's work. No, he has not even said writers or speakers to give public speeches. This is all karma. Very interesting. However, there is reason for us to believe that the qualities that he has described are what go well with certain professions especially. Therefore, Brahmanas are connected more with dealing with knowledge. So, Lakshmi, Saraswati, Durga are 3 deities, as we know. Brahmanas are connected with Saraswati, Kshatriyas are connected with Durga, and Vaishyas are connected with Lakshmi. Shudras are connected with all the 3, but providing very loyal, faithful service. That is their hallmark in the old setting. Now, no matter where you are born, no matter how many degrees you have, your behavior could be Shudra or Vaishya, Kshatriya or Brahmana. That's a different matter. So, the shloka talks about karma and guna. And Shankara says, what is gunataha? Let's take guna first. So, sattva upasarjana other Kshatriya. Before that, Tatra, he goes one by one, talking of Brahmanas. Sattva Pradhanaha Brahmanaha. Of the three qualities, maximum percentage is of Sattva. And his karma is Shamodamastapa. Second, some Kshatriya, he is Raja Pradhana. Both Kshatriya and Vaishya are Raja Pradhana. Then what's the difference? Adi Shankara has said, Raja Pradhanasya Kshatriyasya Sattva Upasarjana Raja Pradhanasya. So, just to make matters easy, let's say Pradhana means 50%. It could be any other larger also. But if you say Pradhana is 50%, Upasarjana is 30, and the last one is 20. So, Brahmana is Sattva Pradhana, 50 is Sattva, 30 is Rajas, let us say, and Tamas is 20. The percentages vary from person to person, but Sattva is 50 or 60 or 70. That is maximum. Kshatriya is Raja Pradhana. Rajas may be 50, and second, we, for convenience of communication, said maybe 30. Second is Rajas. In the case of Vaishya, Rajas is 50 and Tamas is 30. So, that's the difference. Both Kshatriya and Vaishya are Raja Pradhana, but the second place is Sattva for Kshatriya, Tamaha for Vaishya. Now, you may wonder, what is logic of all this? Well, psychology is a vast subject, but one little piece can be given here. Please do not think the Kshatriya only deals with fighting, taking the sword, or modern times the gun, or the Kshatriya is only into dismissal, firing and hiring, etc., administration. Please know that the Kshatriya has a great sense of justice, dispensation of justice through war and peace, through administration and other forms of management. He or she dispenses justice. And in order to decide what is just, what is fair, you need a lot of sattva. Now you may say, but Vaishya also needs a sense of justice. A good merchant in selling and buying, contributing to the prosperity of a society, does she not need to know justice? Sure enough, true enough. But I would imagine the Vaishya is called Raja Pradhana Tama Upasarjanaha. Second point is Tamaha, which is an inferior quality, no doubt. Why? His attention is more on money, money, and money. Whereas in the Kshatriya's work, to a little greater extent, there is need for understanding human beings that are involved. Dealing with human beings. Many times in financial professions, one is not even meeting human beings. They have a sense of who will be finally benefited. But the flow of money. Money is inert, material. Human beings are sentient. So, that is perhaps the reason why Kshatriyas are placed one notch above Vaishyas. Both are Raja Pradhana. Kshatriyas are Sattva Upasarjana Raja Pradhana. Vaishyas are Tama Upasarjana Raja Pradhana. And their karmas also are given by Adi Shankara, going by Sri Krishna's own definitions in chapter 18. Kshatriyasya Shaurya Teja Prabhritini Karmani. And the shloka he is referring to is Shauryam Tejo Dhritir Dhakshyam Yuddhe Chapi Apalayanam. 5 descriptions are given by Sri Krishna in the 43rd verse of chapter 18. Shauryam, heroism, tejaha, great, brilliance in presence of mind, quick action, quickly deciding what needs to be done and then doing it. That is tejaha. In the 16th chapter, where the word tejaha comes, Adi Shankara gives the synonym, a less known word though, pragalbhyam. Tejaha pragalbhyam. That also refers to a certain enhanced awareness, and that expresses as very quick decision making and moving ahead with the implementation without some silly inhibitions, complexes, etc. Te sauryam tejaha dhrutir dakshyam and yuddhecha apalayanam. The Kshatriya has such heroism that he doesn't run away from the battlefield. Then thirdly, what is the karma of Vaishya? Krishi adini. Half a shloka describes the Vaishya karma. Krishi Gaurakshya Vanijyam Vaishya karma Swabhavajam. 9 descriptions of Brahmana's karma, 5 descriptions of Kshatriya karma, 3 descriptions of Vaishya karma. Krishi, agriculture, Gaurakshya, looking after cows and such wealth, Vanijya and commerce are the karma of Vaishya. Please see 18th chapter, 42, 43, 44. And 9, 5, Vaishya 3. When it comes to Shudra, Sri Krishna uses only one word. Paricharyatmakam karma Shudrasyapi swabhavajam. All these are noble, can be noble, all this can be dear to the Supreme God if performed well. And each of them has the potential for either exploiting or allowing others to exploit. Both are sins, I tell you. You exploit and you allow others to exploit. Both are not good. Just as to demand bribe and to offer bribe are both bad. The exploiters and the exploited, the oppressors and the oppressed are generally both involved to an extent in some unjust scenario. Therefore, I would once more say, you and I, individuals belonging to certain backgrounds, by birth maybe certain background, by profession maybe certain background. Some in this audience could be by birth children of Brahmins, but for 3 generations they might be in finance, commerce. The father and grandfather might have been merchants, and same way there are so many, people who are into armed forces and so on, or Kshatriyas much involved with the temple, with religious activity and so on. So looking at several dimensions of your background, your own nature, you then have to look around and what really your conscience regards as unfair and unjust, you must exert to oppose it, to stop it. If you are doing injustice, stop it for heaven's sake. If others are doing injustice, oppose it. Try to stop it in the most appropriate ways. Shankaracharya talks about the diversity. I don't think anyone denies diversity. Any country you go, Africa or Australia, America or Japan, people have diversity. So this 13th shloka, above everything else, is a recognition, is an admission, is an acknowledgement of diversity. And Sri Krishna says, this diversity I have created. Somebody once asked, if God creates people, why does it not make all saints, all noble people, all dharmic people? Before asking God, Krishna or Shiva, please ask poets and writers, Kalidasa or Shakespeare. Kalidasa or Shakespeare, in their plays, in their dramas, in their great works, have created characters. Some are wicked, some are good, some are noble, some are schemy. Therefore, any creation where all are equal, all are good, would not be interesting at all. Then you say, you to make matter interesting, you have allowed people to suffer. No. The suffering, first of all, takes place everywhere in all communities, and suffering is related to karma. One's past karma. Many a time, people in royal families suffer in such bad ways. Royal families. So you find, for example, the life of, I'll offhand give, life of Jhansi Lakshmi Bai. Recently that movie came, Manikarnika. Towards the end, Jhansi Lakshmi Bai's little son, who was to become the king, was taken away, jailed. Somewhere he was put in jail, and in the jail only he dies. Likewise, what happened to all the Rajputs? Last few years, couple of such movies came. Was it not Padmavat, about Rani Padmini? Not only she, but several thousands of members of the royal family and their attendants, ladies, went into fire and died. So please do not say blacks have suffered, whites have not, Shudras have suffered, Brahmanas have not. Different communities have been suffering in different ways. The whites have suffered, and the countries they ruled also have suffered. In history in high school, I read, and I somehow remember that very well. There was an incident in Kolkata called the Black Hole of Calcutta. Those days it was called Calcutta. Black Hole of Calcutta. A large number of Britishers, I guess white soldiers, were all put in one house. And this Muslim king, Siraj-ud-Dawla, closed the whole house, closed all the doors and windows, closed everything, locked it up. And that large number, I don't know whether it was 50, 60 or 150 or 200, some large number of Britishers who were ruling the country in a sense, but because of some confrontation, they were holed up. So it is called the Black Hole of Kolkata. So they just died there, having no air, no food, no water, and so on. Later, the British took revenge on that king Siraj-ud-Dawla. I think, 5 times or 10 times more of soldiers and people on his side were brutally killed by the British. So it is a whole lot of revenge and reconciliation. As a book by Raj Mohan Gandhi, the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, is titled. It is something about South Asia, the story of South Asia, of revenge and reconciliation. Humanity in various arrangements have been fighting, then reconciling, fighting and reconciling. We don't know. The Ukraine and Russia war also shows that sometimes very rich people come to suffer Ukraine has been a rich, very prosperous country. That's how 20,000 Indian students went there to study medical, engineering, medical, and so on. And a good number have been brought back. That's another story. But the casualties and the suffering going on in Ukraine is so sad. Therefore, strange are the ways and the subtle, invisible karma is behind enjoyment as well as suffering of people. On the surface, if you just see whether somebody has a big house or a small house, and if you connect a big house to happiness and a small house to suffering, you will get one reading, one interpretation. But you scratch the surface, maybe the man in the big house is sorrowful every day, and the woman in a little hut in a slum area is laughing more than anybody else. You do not know. So Shankara says, Shudrasya, the verse in 18th chapter uses paricharya. Shankara uses synonym, Shushrusha eva karma. Iti evam gunakarma vibhagashaha. Chaturvarnyam maya shrishtam. I myself felt tickled a couple of times when in foreign countries where I traveled, people of Indian origin are having white people clean the house, cook for them, do many, So at one time they had ruled, and here I once went to Johannesburg, a Gujarati family, South Africa, and the natives, black women, were running around, cooking, doing all, housework. And this young lady of Gujarati origin is the boss in the house. So different people of different backgrounds get down to the side that serves, and then different people get to the side which gets the service. Shushrusha. Therefore, no wonder today most people take this Chaturvarnya as more related to the kind of work people are doing, the kind of behavioral patterns, not so much to do with birth. Gunakarma vibhagashaha chaturvarnyam maya srishtam. And as referred to before, this is notably in human life, this diversity, not among animals, plants, and the Swarga and other worlds, though some little differences may exist. I am no expert on dogs, but I often hear how certain kinds of dogs have certain behavior, certain other kinds of dogs have certain other behavior. So people keep particular kinds of dogs at their home, especially as pets. And the behavioral differences are very visible. And people buy or bring such dog types which they like. So, Manushe Loke, it is said in the Bhāshya. That means the range of diversity is 1,000 times more than you could observe. You could observe a little diversity among cows, among dogs, among maybe birds. There are different kinds. So somebody may take it up as a little mini project. Are there Brahmin dogs? Are there Kshatriya dogs? Are there Vaishya and Shudra type dogs? Because these words are now more a representative of personality type. Anyway, Shankara Bhāshya has a second paragraph which is connecting to next shloka really. Hanta. There is an exclamation. Oh, all right. Tarhi, in that case, you created, therefore you become karta. You are a doer. Whenever somebody does something, it entails good and bad. So Sri Krishna, if you created this Chaturvarnya, you must be affected by punya or papa. Because any karma will have either merit or demerit. Karma phalena yujyase ataha natvam nitya muktaha nitya ishwarascha iti yadyapi maya samvyavaharena tasya karmanah kartaram api santam mam paramartataha vidhi akartaram. This is second half of the 13th shloka itself. Though I have created it all, I, in my heart of hearts, through my wisdom, know every moment I have not done anything at all. Tasya kartaram api akartaram vidhi. And therefore, no karma affects me. And in essence, it connects us to the next shloka. Sri Krishna explicitly says, no karma ever touches me. Let's read 14. Namam karmani limpanti name karma phale spruha iti mam yobhijanati karma bihi nasabadhyate. On one hand, in the first half of the shloka, Sri Krishna says about himself, no karma sticks to me, affects me, and I have no interest in the result of any karma. On the other hand, in the second half of the shloka, he says, anyone who deeply appreciates me in this fashion also gets liberated. That applies to saints and sages. Suppose you were to appreciate, understand, and get into the mind of a saint. If you understand a saint very well, you will also become a saint. For to understand the mindset of a Mahatma requires that you rise to that height of spiritual perfection. Therefore, Sthita Prajna Lakshanas were given with that intention. Siddhasya Lakshanani Sadhakasya Sadhanani. The nature of Siddha, if followed, understood on a deeper level, make the sadhaka move towards becoming a Siddha. Karma bihi nasabadhyate. So what is the idea of karma sticking, some karma not sticking? Adi Shankara puts it this way. Karma lepa, a karma binding us in its very strict sense, connects to deha arambhakatva. You are born again because some karma remained. If karma remained, vasanas remain, desires remain in your bosom, you are bound to be born again. Here, in Sri Krishna's case, he has no vasanas and ahankara abhava. One more line from Adi Shankara's commentary. I have no egoism. Because the simple example goes, if you have a lot of wealth, that doesn't make you egoistic. It is a thought, I have more wealth than anybody else, I am superior to others. In this way, if you think, that is ego. Sri Krishna has done everything, but he does not have the sense of being the doer. Ahankara abhava. And he has no spriha in karma phala. Whereas sansaris, I am reading from the Bhāshya, yesham tu sansarinam aham karta iti abhimanaha karmasu spriha cha tat phaleshu Tan karmani limpanti iti yuktam. People in the world want results. Suppose you tell somebody something valuable and using that somebody gets some great success. Then you tell all your friends, I gave him that idea, and you expect praise. And if that person, let us say, who succeeded and made money, sends you some rewards, you will feel so happy. Yes, because to seek rewards is built into our psyche. Whereas Sri Krishna's case, tadabhava, neither identification with karma nor desire for karma phala. Atmatvena abhijanati, naham karta name karma phale spraha. Therefore, karma doesn't bind me. So all these are very good food for thought. A proper study of Gita can give to us tools to understand our life. If not right during the study of the text, at some time unexpectedly, you will be blessed with insights whereby you understand your errors so far. You begin to change. Change takes place not by memorizing shlokas, agreed, but change does take place when those shlokas become the launch pad of precious insights. In the light of this Gita shloka, which you memorized, which you recited, which you taught, which you learned, all that is okay. But the best part is sometime, as I would once more say, unexpectedly, in the light of the shloka, you suddenly understand a disorderly behavior of yours, which perhaps has been with you from childhood. But in this intense understanding, that disorderly behavior gets a fatal blow. You will no more behave like that. Your pettiness, your smallness, your narrow-mindedness, your prejudice, all of them as though get burnt in that flash of understanding. The study of scriptures is meant to generate such flashes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.